Good afternoon. It's March 15th. It's Tuesday, and that means it's time for Tech20 Tuesday. Tech20 Tuesday is a digitally based professional learning opportunity for teachers in Anglophone West School District, and we're glad you could join us this afternoon. So today we're going to have a look at Plickers. By the way, my name is Jeff Whipple. I'm a technology lead here in the district. So today we're going to look at Plickers. Plickers are a really cool, way to do assessment that doesn't need every student or every participant to have their own device. And so what it allows you to do is actually collect data from students, collect answers to questions, whether they be true or false or multiple choice questions, that allows you to build some really quick assessment into your program that allows you to do this with a single mobile device. So a single mobile device like an iPhone or an iPad or a template or a tablet or something like that. And so what this allows us to do is to collect data from students about what's going on in your classroom. Here you see a picture of a teacher who's doing just that. And so she is collecting answers from students, and they are all holding up a single piece of paper. And we're going to walk your way through this as to exactly how this works, but it's really simple and easy to use and to set up. So first of all, you need two things. You need a mobile device like a phone or a tablet, and you're going to download the app called Plickers, Plickers. So you see here that Plickers is the app that's on my iPhone. Did a screenshot today, and you'll notice that there is, I've circled it here with big stars, so it's also available for Android and other platforms as well, and you can download that at whatever store you happen to be working with. So once you open the app up, you'll notice that it opens and you'll see all of your classes. Now I have two classes here that I've got. Number one is called demo class, but that could be a multiple classes that you happen to have or a project that you happen to be working with students on. So you can have as many classes as you want. For today, I'm just working with the project class, and it's just one that I've set up almost as a demo class. So once I click on the project class, you'll notice here that up comes a list of questions. Now, you can see here that I've got a queue set up, so these are questions that I may want to answer or that are pre-set up in order. I can also go to my library of questions if I wanted to click right here, or I can create a question on the fly if I wanted to click right here. But for today, I've simply set up a question. I've shared an email or social media password with a friend, and this is what a project that I've been doing with students. So we've been doing some surveys. And then up comes the question. Hello? So up comes the question. I've shared an email or a social media password with a friend. A, true or false. And then it gives me the opportunity to scan answers. So students would simply hold up their Plicker card. Each one of them would get a different card, and it would be numbered. And this is what the cards look like. This happens to be student number 1. And you can have it either as random, or if you want to collect data on students on an ongoing basis, you can actually assign each of them their own card. Number 1 is this one. And you see here the responses are A, B, C, or D, and they would respond back to the teacher depending on the orientation of the card. In this case, they are responding answer B, because answer B is up at the top. So, so this is student number 1 responding with answer B. They simply hold that up facing the teacher like you saw in the first picture. And the teacher, as they scan, what they see is students' responses. And so as they simply hold up their phone, they would push scan, they see the room, and as they scan across, it gives them each individual student's number or their name. You can have it set up either way, and their answer. And if the teacher actually has set up a correct answer, you can do it without correct answer, with just a random answer. Or if you want to have a correct answer, then they will see it. It will pop up in green. So here you see student number 1, or Johnny, whatever the name is answered A. So the teacher can do a quick calculation as she scans across the room. That pops up on the screen that she's using to scan with. They will also be able to see a total. So at the end of it, you'll see 69% correct. So this is actually a scan of what they're using. And you can see that the teacher has identified question number B as the correct answer. 9 of her students answered B, and the 1 answered A. And you can see as they scanned across, this pops up on her screen as well. However, there's another place where it comes up, and it's on the computer that they're actually using, and they can put this up either on the board or they can keep it to themselves. Students like to see the results immediately, and so, for instance, are you dressing up for Halloween? You're doing a little conversation, whatever you want to do, and you can notice here that because she's in graph mode, she can actually see the results put up into a graph. And she can put that right up on her smart board or onto any other projector that she wants, so that she can collect that data. They can also bring up individual student answers. So instead of clicking on the graph mode, she can go to individual students and she can show answers that students are giving. So this actually isn't showing the answers. This is simply saying that they've responded by having the check mark. If she actually wants to show the answers, so that, and you may want to do that depending on the situation. If you click on answers, it will actually show each student's answer that they responded to, and it would be color-coded A, B, C, or D, or whatever. A couple of things that you do want, before I move on to showing you what the back end looks like at the actual Plickers website, a couple of things that, one thing that you do want to remember is the ARTIPA, the privacy legislation. Because the data is being stored on a non-Canadian server, or we assume it is, you do want to make sure that you're not giving away too much students' identity, so you wouldn't want to use full names. I would suggest you use partial names, or maybe their first name and a last initial, something like that, just to make sure that you are making the best attempt that you can to follow within privacy legislation. I do want to move to the website. Just to show you what the Plickers website looks like. So for individuals, for teachers who start with Plickers, it's really easy to get started. First of all, you create an account. Right now, you notice up here that I'm logged in, so it's called my account. If you go to plickers.com, you can make your own account. It is absolutely free. It costs nothing. So you can just simply go there and make your own account. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the cards. You notice that the cards, each student has their own card. So you can use the same set of cards. Number 1 is always looking like number 1. So if you have a set of cards in your classroom that you want to use for different classes, that's fine. Or if you want to give each individual student a card so that they're number 1 always, you can actually write it on the top. When it prints on, a couple of little hints, when it prints on 8.5 by 11, it'll print white right in the middle. So what you may want to do is trim off each end so that the card becomes square, and that way students can't look at each other's card and look for orientation to try to get some guesses as to what other students are actually answering as well. Because you want it to be anonymous, and you want students to feel comfortable providing the answer that they have to provide. A couple of things. First of all, the library. The library of questions is where you can set up all of your questions. And so you can simply create a new folder. You can have mobile uploads, demo class and project. These are my 2 classes, so I can create a new class very quickly by doing that over here in the classes link. So I can assign questions to different classes, and I can have different projects, new questions, easy to do, A, B, C, or D, or true, false, one or the other. I can print off reports So if you're collecting student data on an ongoing basis and you want to see how students are doing in terms of getting the answers right in a private way, you can simply print out reports and do question history. To set up a new class, I just simply go to the Classes tab, click Add a New Class, and what it will allow me to do is enter the name of the class, select a year, select a subject, make it a different color so that you can color code them, and then it will simply ask me to add students one at a time. Once you've created that class, it's easy to edit as well. And the live view is when you have Plickers running in your app. Once you open the app on your iPhone or your iPad or whatever device you're using, the live view will show up if you have a question that's live. So if you're collecting data from students, or you have started a question for students to answer, the live view will pop up. And as I showed you earlier, what it's going to look like, it's going to look something like this or like this. So the question is going to be up there to remind them what the question is, yes or no, and it will start collecting the data. And as the results come in, the data will change. So you'll see that students, and here, if you're in this view, it will just simply show students that they've answered, so that their answer has been registered. So because show answers hasn't been clicked, it simply gives them a check mark to say that their answer's been registered. It doesn't show us live what their answer is. So that is, in a nutshell, really what Plickers is all about. I just wanted to show you a very quick video of what might look like or will look like in a classroom. So this is a teacher who's actually posed a question. She's got the question on her whiteboard, and you notice here that she's got her phone in her hand, and that's going to be her device for collecting the data. So each of the students is going to have some time to reflect, figure out the question or the answer. Now, in some settings, you may want them to just simply hold it up right away. So here you've got students working out the answer. And then she's going to simply start collecting data. So here now she's putting up her phone, and the students are holding up their answers based on their responses. Now, one of the things you should know is not every Plicker looks different. Every response card from students does look different. So students, their responses are always going to look different, so it's going to be completely anonymous. So what you saw there from that teacher is simply an opportunity for students to give their responses to her quietly, and her to collect a lot of great data to inform her teaching and learning going onward. So that is Plickers. I'm going to pull up the conversation. Good to see Heather and Lisa. Thank you for joining us today. If anybody out there has any questions, you can simply put them in, either open up your microphone and ask, or I've got a conversation here on the IM side, and so you can send me a message as well if you want. So you can do that now while I move on to the next slide, which is simply a list of our technology mentors who can give you some hand with Plickers. So if you are looking for some help, our technology leads in the district, in Woodstock, it's Waylon Dixon, waylon.dixon@nbed.nb.ca. FEC South is Carm Desjardins, and so that is all the Fredericton Education Center schools south of the St. John River. So that goes all the way out to Macadam and Harvey and everything in Fredericton South side. I'm covering Fredericton North, so all of the schools on the north side, all the way out to Boys Town, Harvey, Stanley, in that area. And down in OEC, in Ormocto, Janice and Wendy are sharing the duties down there. And so they do everything on the OEC side. Now, so if you're looking for some help and want to try Plickers in your classroom or anything else that's technology related, make sure that you get a hold of one of us. We'd love to help, and hopefully that will get you going with this. The neat thing about this, and I can't get over it, can't stress this enough, is that not every student needs a device to use this. Only one device that the teacher controls, and that's what's really neat about this, is that students only need to have a Plicker, one piece of paper that allows them to give their responses to their teacher and for the teacher to collect the data that they need. So that's it for Tech 20 Tuesday today. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. I'm not quite sure where we're going, but we'll have another topic for you, and we'll share that early next week as we move along. Thank you all for joining us.